Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the next part of week one, English 2332. I'm still Joseph Fly. Well, I wanted to talk to you for just a few moments about Gilgamesh as you're reading the first poem for week one. It's helpful if you'll start off with a list of the main characters. If you'll kind of learn who the main characters are, there's only a few: Gilgamesh, Enkidu, Shamhat, Shamash, Anu, Ishtar, Humbaba. But learn those characters, and then as you read the poem, it'll make sense. Something else that will help you to understand the poem better, to help it make sense, is to understand a little bit about where the poem came from. Gilgamesh is the first written narrative we have, the first epic poem we have, written more than 4,700 years ago, a long, long time ago. But the poem is also used to teach schoolboys how to write. And while all the existing versions are fragmentary, we don't have a complete version in existence. We do have lots of bad copies of different parts. So when the translators try to figure out which is the most accurate or which is right, there's a lot of guesswork. That's why there's so many different translations out there. I do recommend, now, if you want to, you can read it on screen, just follow the link I provided. If you want to, you can print that out and then highlight the significant parts. You're welcome to buy a standalone copy. Mine's at home right now, but just Barnes and Noble or Amazon, you can get one for probably $7 or $8, and very easy to carry around. And I love being able to highlight or underline and then go back and find it again when I need to reread just that one part. Very helpful, very useful. Remember, though, you're going for comprehension. You're not just reading to get through it. You're not just reading to find out what happened, but you're looking for an in-depth understanding. We call that a close reading, where you take your time, you go through it, maybe make some notes on what's happening, underline significant parts, highlight them, and then it just helps you understand it better. As you go through it, you also want to look for main themes like dreams, journeys, or a couple of journeys, relationships between the main characters. I would also look for little interesting things like different powers of the gods. There are several gods mentioned, and each one seems to have a very narrow range of very specific superpowers. But look through that and keep in mind that this comes from a time and a place, a culture that is significantly different from ours. And so when we see Gilgamesh invoking prima nocta, the rite of first night, as he sleeps with all the young maidens on their wedding night, that seems like rape to us. That seems violent and forced. But it was a different culture, and so you really had to apply different rules and understanding their cultural norms. But it's a great poem. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Hope you've had a chance to look at some of those videos I've posted up for you. There's lots of ways to help you understand it. Nobody expects you to sit down and read it and just really understand it fully the very first time. You may have to read different parts of it a couple times. I find it very helpful to summarize different parts. When we study Shakespeare, I'll recommend that you read Act 1, Scene 1, just the first 2 or 3 pages, and then summarize that in just 2 or 3 sentences. Very helpful in comprehension. And then kind of keep track of those notes. Always in college, you don't want to throw anything away to the end of the semester. And I would say don't throw anything away until you graduate. But keep hold of your notes, because when you get the first assignment sheet, it will have something to do with Gilgamesh. So you may need to go back and reference that reading even later in the semester. Let's see. I was going to mention the fact that we're using HonorLock as our virtual proctor this semester. It's an app. It's actually an extension of the Google Chrome. Before you install it, go back and make sure to uninstall, get rid of any previous versions of HonorLock or Proctorio. Any sort of online proctoring thing you have, you want to get rid of that. I would also recommend you clear your browser history and your cache, make room for it, and then install it, and then of course reboot your computer. If you email me and say I'm having this technical problem, I'm not really a computer guy, so my most common recommendation is reboot your computer. So I recommend you try that first, and if it doesn't work, then contact the South Plains College IT department, the help desk, or for example, Unlock has a really good, like award-winning chat line. So of course, make use of that if you need to. Let's see, what else was there? I hope your semester is off to a good start. If you have any questions about the syllabus, please let me know. And in case you haven't noticed yet, yes, I did do a course copy from 2025. So, because we covered the same material. And so if you run across something, a due date or something that says 2025, please just mentally change that to 2026 and let me know and I'll change it in the course, of course. I'd like to be clear about the grading standards. When you see your first assignment sheet, there'll be a comprehensive list of everything that I'll be grading for. Um, there are 3 response papers and 3 quizzes, and then the final exam. So it's a pretty straightforward semester, not a lot of complicated math to determine your grades. The other thing I would really encourage you, really encourage you, is to log in to Blackboard at least twice a week. I know there's a tendency to put it off and just do it on the weekends or something, but get in the habit of logging in on Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Fridays. Check on that on a regular basis. Check your SPC email account. You can have that forwarded to your cell phone if you want. I do. But stay up with the course. Don't get behind in your assignments. Don't get behind the discussion posts. All discussion posts must have 200 words or more and must be squarely, cleanly on topic. Start on topic, stay on topic, end on topic is the way we say that. I will try to post another video later that kind of summarizes Gilgamesh. So I recommend that you go ahead and read the poem now. Oh, I was going to tell you. I thank you. Yes. Okay. So Gilgamesh was written a long time ago. It's written on these clay tablets in a language called cuneiform, which actually describes the alphabet, not the language. But the tablets being made of clay were very brittle, and so they broke into pieces. So we have lots and lots of pieces, but we don't have all the pieces. So when you're reading the poem, if you see parts in brackets, that's where your translator has guessed or assumed what went in there. Now, I've read several different translations, and they're all, well, they're similar in some ways, although vastly different in other ways. But the guesses are generally pretty good guesses. Your translators, no matter which version you read, is going to be an accomplished individual who understands the root language as well as the culture of Samaria. Remember, this comes from Mesopotamia, and you have to kind of take things at face value. It's a story, not a history book. Okay, so we'll get the characters down, look for the nuance, read for comprehension, and when you have questions, which I know you will, email me, jfly@southplainscollege.edu. Good luck.